Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with the Overwatch Open, just waiting to get into map number 1 between Tornado.ROX and FaZe, and interesting storylines coming in here. Of course, we were just talking before the break about how Tornado.ROX, formerly known as Pretz, they've had moments where they've been pretty decent, but they've yet to take that next step. And FaZe has sort of been all over the place, but actually, in some people's eyes, a contender to go all the way. So, moving forward here, it's going to be interesting to see just what sort of FaZe team we see come out here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of pressure actually, I feel like, riding on them. If anything, for ROX, they're the underdog here. They have less pressure on their shoulders. Whereas FaZe, they were just picked up by one of the biggest gaming organizations in North America, and they're definitely going to want to be able to qualify here. Obviously, they are sitting in the same group as Rogue, so losing this is actually pretty bad. I mean, they want to be able to take the win here so they can just continue to move forward, face off against Rogue, see what happens. But of course, here we go. It's going to be Hollywood starting things off, and I wonder who this is going to favor, ZP.
I would definitely favor FaZe going in here, but the interesting thing is that FaZe might have to end up playing against Tornado.ROX once more, because if we think that Rogue is favored against FaZe, right? They go forward, they go up against Rogue, they get knocked in the lower bracket. Well, guess who they're very likely to be going up against again? Tornado.ROX. So these teams, this might be the first series of 2 for them in the upcoming days. So I certainly FaZe wants to bring their best here, but Tornado.ROX does end up losing, they will be able to take good notes for what could be a potential rematch on play.
Yeah, both teams definitely need to be scouting out as much as possible, because more than likely, ZP, you're totally correct, that is going to be the final outcome here. At least that's what a lot of people would expect here as both teams move forward. And taking a look at the lineups of both teams, very standard stuff, except for we do see a Genji on defense here. Not totally standard, but Shadowburn, he's going to be playing Genji.
And Lar was able to get to the back flank as McCree took out Forsaken. Shadowburn firing right back, 5v5. But remember, trade-outs here for offense are not a bad thing. Unfortunately for Tornado.ROX, are just spread about. Reinhardt was in the middle of nowhere. No help for him whatsoever. Tornado.ROX is starting to poke in. They did almost take out Reinhardt, but they were having a bit of trouble. But Buho is able to get to the back, takes out 2easy. And this is sort of back and forth right now on both sides. The defense, though, slowly getting worn down as time goes on. And this is not a bad look at all for Tornado.ROX.
Yeah, they spawn a little bit closer to the point, so they're able to reinforce a little bit quicker. There's the Reinhardt now down and out, as Claus will be getting back into the action. And wow, I thought this was looking great for FaZe for a split second there, but able to get back into the action. Oh, that's actually a pretty huge charge as well. So Claus making it happen for his team, and they should have a window here, ZP.
Yeah, they absolutely will have a window. Rockets will not be back for quite a while. ROX will be able to fully reinforce in this mode. They're going to be able to use Transcendence and rush right in. They'll bait out the Transcendence with FaZe, so we're going to be feeling a whole lot of Zen here in just a moment. But here is the X Factor. Shadowburn himself, one of the most explosive Genjis in the game. Dragonblade at the ready. He's going to be bringing this out here in just a moment. Goes to the back line. Dragonblade is out, looking for those plays. Transcendence is out, and this is going to make him not have the targets he's looking for. No one dead yet in this fight, but towards the end, he does clean up, gets the kill he's looking for. In fact, FaZe, despite getting knocked around a bit, they will be holding on point A.
And I can't help but feel, ZP, that Tornado.ROX missed their opportunity there. They had a 1 or 2 man advantage for a second. Of course, it was just a split second. They would have had to capitalize on it very quickly, but in the end, they just hesitated a little bit too long. Silver lining, they do have 3 ultimates looking towards getting a Graviton Surge as well, and they're going to be able to combo that with the Dragon Blade here. No Dragon Blade will be up for Shadowburn.
Yeah, this is going to be their window coming up here in just a moment. I think for them, their actually best play would be to come in, get wiped, and burn the Sound Bearer from Raucus and go from there. But they're going to use everything right now. They feel this is a window. Sound Bearer is down. They move right in. They do get Graviton in by Zom. Zom's going to pick up 2 kills off of that. Buho, though, Dragonblade on the way. Gets the triple kill, turns it right around. And here comes Tornado.ROX. They just need 1 or 2 more kills to secure this fight.
It's not quite over yet, but looking better and better and better. Buho looking for the kill on 2easy. 2easy getting 2 in his last dying breaths. But now it's just Raucus left on the point. He's going to be delaying as long as he possibly can, and there's still enough time for FaZe to get back on the point, but already being able to tick away. Will they get that first tick? No, actually, they aren't able to get it. Once again, not able to capitalize on having a fairly significant advantage.
It was heroics from 2easy to really keep FaZe in it, though. 2easy definitely showing the play. Dragonblade out from Shadowburn, slicing, does take out Zarya before going down and turn to his counterpart. Endlar almost getting poked down as things go forward here, but FaZe have no business actually getting back and defending this point. Tornado.ROX, fortunately, letting go of what was a great opportunity. They let 2easy get too much done, and speaking of 2easy, here comes a Deadeye over the top, looking for his shots. The skulls are there, takes out Claus, and Tornado.ROX, they pop Transcendence, but it's too little too late. Too many people have died for that to be effective.
Yeah, and that's actually a wasted ult for them, so back to the drawing board again, and no support ultimates for this next fight. That said, not many up for FaZe as well, so, but man, only 20 seconds left, and God, you got to be kicking yourself if you're Tornado.ROX right now. They had a huge advantage, not once, but actually twice so far here on Hollywood. And Heroics coming out from Too Easy, as you mentioned, in his last dying breaths, able to pull off the kill. And that was all they needed to get back in there. Shadowburn, of course, bringing out the sword.
Tom's on the flank here for Zarya, looking for that flank. Graviton. Graviton is out, does set up the kill. Enlar gets a double kill on right in there. Ang right now on the point, trying to do anything to keep Tornado.ROX in this, but the flow in FaZe's favor. Zombs at 50% charge, getting the damage he needs in the back line, opens up Shadowburn to take out the other Genji, and this should be a hold here from FaZe. And Tornado.ROX, they kind of let them off the hook.
Yeah, Tornado, they look, they're going to be switching on over to defense, but that is a demoralizing attack there. They were not even able to get one tick on the point when they had that huge advantage. So on attack, it's going to be tough, man. This Immortals slash now not Immortals, they're called FaZe. This team looking quite good there. I really liked what we saw out of Zom, some huge plays. Graviton Surge or 2, picking up 2 or 3 at a time, but really, he was just able to keep very high charge and got dealt out a whole lot of damage. So it was really not just Too Easy who was doing work. It was not just Shadowborn and his Dragon Blade. It was also Zoms who was able to clean up quite a few times at the end.
Zoms definitely came in the clutch. I've been seeing Zarya's actually have better and better games as time goes on. Crew definitely was a model earlier here in the night. And also, of course, recent showings of Coolmat have just been absolutely phenomenal. I think actually of all the Zaryas in the game, we've seen Coolmat just go off more so than anyone else. So Zarya does have that explosive power if played properly. But either way, just to let you guys know the win conditions here. It's going to be FaZe on the attack. If they capture point A, that's it. The rest of the map does not matter. Because their defense was so strong, they've set themselves up in the offense to where they don't really have to do much to win this game. So Tornado.ROX, they need to hold a miraculous defense here, and that's just to tie things out.
Yeah, that's going to be a real tall order. And if you actually look at the team lineups, both rosters going to be running kind of non-standard stuff. We see 3 tanks here on attack for Tornado.ROX, only 1 DPS, so they're actually opting to have a Winston on defense. Pretty interesting to see that selection come out. Whereas on attack, Forsaken switched on over to Ana. So he's probably going to be looking to apply the nano boost onto Shadowburn as soon as he gets that Dragon Blade up, or perhaps even onto Fact Fiction. It's really, either way, is going to be pretty damn hard to stop here on defense.
So the reason why you see Winston's come out on the defense is that's where the defense is going to be a little bit more aggro, where if they do get an early pickup, you're going to use Winston to counter-engage and go right in. They probably need to have that sort of attitude going if they want to hold here. It's going to be rough. And FaZe, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of respect shown here. I think they're going to go in right away. They're not going to waste too much time because they know that even if they screw up the first fight, it's not going to be about Shadowburn, though, already on the top looking for the free, eats a flashbang, has to back out, but will be flanking in and around, and they've already got positioning advantage with Tornado.ROX. They're getting poked down. 3 members almost dead. Shadowburn goes in, gets the pick off on the McCree. 2 kills here for FaZe, and this might be over before it even begins.
Oh, making it look easy now, even though all those plays from Shadowburn were there. Incredible. Really, his Genji is out of this world. One of the best Genjis that we've seen so far. They've made it look easy. They're going to capture the point in just a matter of minutes, and we thought this game was going to be relatively close, and actually when you were watching Tornado.ROX on attack, it looked like it was close. They had moments where they were just on the razor's edge of being able to capture that first point, but in the end, it's going to be ending quickly in absolute dominant fashion here for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, and really you take a look at it, the real difference here is that they weren't able to finish off the they needed to finish it off. I mean, you take a look at Too Easy, for example. Too Easy had moments where he was the last person alive at the point and had sheer heroics because they didn't dive on him as quickly as they needed to, and he was able to bring things back. So it's unfortunate for Tornado.ROX because I feel like they should have been able to take point A, but they were almost their own worst enemy in respects. But big props to the players on FaZe for being able to take those opportunities and run with them. Zoms and Too Easy in particular really stepping up.
Yeah, and you saw that play come out from Buho, able to get 3 kills with the Dragon Blade in just a matter of seconds, and somehow they were not able to capture off of that, mainly because Too Easy was able to pull around in the last seconds and get 2 kills. Basically 1 versus 2. Yeah. Nice stuff from Too Easy, keeping that for his team. But we have been joined by Joshi to give us a little bit of a breakdown of what you saw watching from the green room. How'd you like that match?
Well, my first question for you guys is, was that just Rogue versus Gatekeepers again, or was this FaZe versus Tornado.ROX? It was actually so one-sided, I had trouble telling the difference, and I think it all really just came down to Too Easy and Shadowburn had plenty of room to just do whatever they wanted. We saw that Vinogradina is how you actually pronounce that crazy name of the Genji.
Oh.
He told us, yeah, he told us recently that
That's
it
not
actually
how it's spelled at all.
it's Russian. So
He will always be Buho in my heart because that is what it says on the screen.
for you guys viewing at home, Buhor Padua actually translates to Vinogradina, which means grape. So Jorsar and I have been calling him Grape for a while.
That's
Vino, all right,
so
makes sense.
incredibly complicated
It
for
is
saying grape.
complicated.
Like, please, BNet name changes.
should
They've been
rename.
liberal with them as of late. Blizzard is giving out plenty of name changes. Go to BNet, change your name to Grape, not Buho, because for
But
now, you're just Buho.
It's kind of rough for us English casters. I'm sure he wasn't thinking about that, whenever he named his Battle.net account. But he had a great play of the game there. Got 4 kills, as you guys pointed out, and they still couldn't convert. They didn't even get a single tick off of that, and of course that's because the trickle-in defense was able to just get the last bit of damage on all the attackers there. And when the sides flipped, Shadowburn just went kill, dash reset, and everyone else stood firm.
The interesting thing about the defense that came out from Tornado.ROX is that they were really quite split up. You take a look at where their Reinhardt was. Their Reinhardt was very far forward as he was getting flanked behind by Shadowburn, as he had people behind him on the cafe. When you're playing defense, you can't be that spread out. Reinhardt was basically off on an island by himself. He wasn't able to give good shielding to the rest of his team, which is part of why you pick Reinhardt to begin with. And in the end, he got flanked down as the rest of his team was getting just poked down. So it was a very decisive early attack by FaZe, but I don't think Tornado.ROX did themselves any favors with how they set up their defense.
Yeah, a bit of lack of DPS as well with Winston instead of a second DPS. And we don't hate to see that. I mean, there are cases where it can end up working, but and especially against a player like Shadowburn, probably looking to counter the Genji on attack there, just didn't end up working. I mean, Winston is somebody that he's not going to be able to do 1v2s, 1v3s, or even anything close to that. If it's 1v1, Winston will be okay, but didn't actually work out like that, and that Winston was pretty much a non-factor on defense.
Alrighty, well, we are going to be getting to map number 2, Tornado.ROX versus FaZe. FaZe certainly looking strong, looking like they do want to be a threat to Rogue later on here in the night. We'll see if that will hold firm. But for Tornado.ROX, if they want to have a better showing here, if they want to just keep the morale high, even if they do inevitably lose a series, they do need to come out strong because, again, you stop and think about it, the way that the bracket is set up right now, the path to Atlanta for Tornado.ROX goes through either FaZe or Rogue in all likelihood. So if they can't make a good showing against FaZe here, it does not bode well for their chances of taking that transatlantic trip.
Yeah, absolutely. Rogue riding the high of the recent victory. Definitely the favorites to make it through in on this group, and they already have the fattest wallets here in Overwatch. Right now, they're looking to pad that a little bit more. Question is, who will be the second person to go through the group? FaZe now moving out on attack, and no funny business here. It's a very standard team comp. In fact, Shadowburn not running Genji.
Yeah, we've seen this from him here on King's Row, where he does go Reaper more often than not. He still busts out the Genji from time to time, but Reaper is the other DPS hero Simon, and they're going right into it. Zombs moving right in, takes out Claw, Shadowburn, no one on him, and still B will get taken out at the end, but not before getting an extra pickoff. And overall, FaZe, with the momentum, they are going to take this fight as Too Easy comes at the cleanup, has a double kill, and is chasing down for more.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like right now FaZe just kind of outclassing Tornado.ROX in terms of DPS ability, just pure fragging ability. That said, Tornado.ROX not doing themselves any favors when they let their Zarya just kind of die to a Reaper. They needed to back their Zarya up in that situation, and instead, Buho, I'm just going to keep calling him that for now. Buho went down super early in that fight, and FaZe already looking dominant here on King's Row.
FaZe is going to keep up the pressure here. Now, you take a look at the ult situation. Raucus is about to have Sound Barrier up in a little bit. They're going to be able to use that to push in Tornado.ROX. And for Tornado.ROX, if they can't get a pick off right here, right now, if there's Earth Shower, it's going to be rough. This is their opportunity. Too Easy, though, comes in, takes out mistakes early on. They're already fighting somewhat of an overextension coming up for Quasi's taken out. And meanwhile, FaZe, they get right into the back line. They get all the kills they're looking for, and they're going to continue the dominance.
Yeah, overextension, definitely an apt way to call that last game, or that last engagement, as we saw even the McCree just a little bit out of position from his team. Both teams actually holding on to a ton of ultimates, or some potential ultimates. Tornado.ROX not up there yet, but will have quite a few. Question is, what are they going to be able to do to stop FaZe from collecting this next point? There's certainly time for them to get in there. Too Easy, though, going to be zoning everyone away, not able to do too much damage, although the Reinhardt shield for Tornado already pretty low here.
Here comes Graviton to take things up. Shadowburn has Death Blossom out already. Might not even need to use it. They have 4 kills off of that Graviton. Zom sets up his team to feast, and here's the scary part for Tornado.ROX. Not only is FaZe just absolutely obliterating them and setting a lightning fast time, Shadowburn is set up and ready to go.
Yeah, this is utter domination right now for FaZe, and not what we would have expected to see. Pretz has had good results in online tournaments, in Go-To Gamers weeklies, in qualifiers. They did qualify to make it to the playoffs for ESL Atlantic Showdown as well. So this team needs to get together. They have the ultimates to do it, ZP.
Right now, Shadowburn is getting it down and dirty here. Graviton Surge does come in, stymies his team a little bit, but they're able to withstand. FaZe still at full strength. They're on the verge of saying a super quick time, and once Lucio speed boosts out, Shadowburn is going to go right in. He wants to press Q. The Q is out, picks up the double kill, about to make it triple, will not do that. Zomzo has his back, and this is one of the quickest times we've seen. It will be sub 3 minutes here. If they can cap it out in 1 more second, it will be. That is a time of 2:54.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Sorry, 2:56, I think.
That is absolutely demoralizing for Tornado.ROX. They were just picked up by a new sponsor, and on this grand stage here at the OverwatchOpen qualifier for the European region, they're going to go out in a grand fashion. And that actually really looks nice, though, for FaZe on the flip side. This team hasn't been super consistent over time. They've gotten better and better, of course, over the weeks. You know, they're actually pretty damn new. So this actually bodes very well for them, I think, moving forward. And they might even be able to put up a decent fight against Rogue at this rate.
Yeah, okay, it was right. It's 2:54, but yeah, I agree. I mean, FaZe is looking super dominant here, and for Tornado.ROX, this is the absolutely worst situation. This is the worst universe. There is nothing good about what they are facing right now. I mean, so just to put this in perspective, even when a game is one-sided, I get super excited by quick times because you don't see them all that often. And for Tornado.ROX, their only path to victory here to move on and face Rogue is setting an even quicker time. So what does that entail? That means everything is going to have to go right for them. If they lose even a single fight, they are probably out of it. So FaZe, their magic number here being 1, maybe 2, it would require just an epic collapse for them not to win this game.
Yeah, honestly, you almost would expect to see a May. That is very much what we're going to see here out of Shadowborn, because even just ice blocking once or twice on the point,
yeah,
probably all they really need. I mean, that payload did not stop for anything, at any point, in any way. So FaZe now looking incredibly strong, and in fact, there's almost no way for them to lose this.
Oh man, it's like, what? You know what? We're losing, but we still have the Winston Disco going on right now. Swing the Tesla cannon here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, for Tornado.ROX, this is rough. They need to have a little bit of fun, but now they need everything to go well for them. And a lot can be here on the back of Enlar, I feel like. Just good poke with McCree, can't get early pickups. He's able to find 2easy early on here. Maybe that'll be what they need, but Shadowburn is on the May. He's looking to be crafty to see if he can ice wall them out, and he might have an opportunity here in just a moment.
All right, ZP, let's hype this up for ROX. This is their chance. They need to make it happen. It needs to be perfect from here on out. Can they do it?
The ice wall comes in and splits them off right away, but it does not stop them. They're still at good HP. They're slightly, arguably winning positioning war right now as they move in. Shadowburn gonna have to back out, freezes Reinhardt's off, and here comes Factor Fission. Charge on the way. They're trading out kills. Enlar does come in big, takes out Shadowburn, and again, he's gonna have to do a little bit more than that. Needs to find 2easy sooner rather than later. Needs to land those headshots, and they're trading out fights here, but 2easy is absolutely on fire in the back. But he will go down to Enlar, so Tornado.ROX sort of doing what they need to do.
Sort of.
Kind of.
Oh, kind of. And even though that this fight, even if that fight had gone the way of Tornado.ROX, even this slight amount of delay, probably enough for FaZe here as they continue to hold very strong on the point, and they're going to have sound barrier very soon as well. So this next engagement, that sound barrier up will be slightly quicker. There it goes. They're going to look for an early kill. Indeed, they're able to get it. Fact Fiction with a nice charge, ZP, and that's pretty much one and done.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. A minute 42 left. Even if Tornado.ROX were able to get this point right now, they would not be able to push us all the way to the end. There's just mathematically not enough time. FaZe has done what they need to do to delay them, and this was a crunching. There's really no other way of saying it. This was brutality in its finest form. FaZe came out super strong. Pretz came out weaker than they needed to, and that was effectively the reverse scenario that Tornado.ROX needed to be able to win this game. So, not a great look for them, but a very good look for FaZe, and this is one that they wanted to have as they move in to face off of Rogue.
Yeah, not only did they get the win, but they have it in such a way that they're going to feel super confident moving into the next game. And kind of disappointed we're not going to be able to see that winner's bracket game tonight, because it's going to be pretty hype. You know, both of these teams, rather, FaZe and Rogue, both roll through their opponents so easily that they've got to be feeling great about this group, each apiece.
Yeah, and I would say the biggest standout here for FaZe, Shadowburn was good as usual, but we sort of touched on it a little bit before, but 2easy definitely showed us his highest level play that he has in a long time. We know that he's able to bring up his level play. For a long time, he said that he just had school, he wasn't able to really practice as much as he wanted to, and then he's like, well, I've suspended my university studies, which some people go, is that a good idea? Well, he's passionate and wants to take that risk. And for now, it does seem like we can see that the additional time playing has helped his game.
Yep, indeed. And then FaZe is going to go cleanly 2-0 up here into the winner's bracket of Group B. And that means it's a collision course with Rogue, as you did predict, ZP. But we've been joined by Joshi and Rachel to break down what was yet another very, very quick and one-sided game. And we've had a couple of those today.
Really impressive stuff from FaZe, though. I think, you know, Tornado.ROX just came up against a wall that they couldn't overcome, and I really think that speaks to the experience that FaZe has had in the game. We talked a little bit about Zoms and some of the other U.S. players that we're familiar with seeing, but you know, Joshi, you sat there, you watched the game. What did you think was the biggest factor in FaZe's victory?
In FaZe's victory, I'll say just the fact that they were getting individual kills so often that the DPS players for ROX were unable to ever have any room. Nalar is actually a player who very often impresses with his McCree play. He didn't have any time to kill anyone. He was always under assault because his tanks and supports were just getting picked off so quickly. And a big part of that, obviously, is Too Easy. He's very well known for his accuracy on hit scan, and this was a great showcase for it. He had many multi-kills throughout on the attack there. Too Easy helped them roll right through. On the defense, it was more of an even mix, but Shadowburn on Mei, they knew they only had to defend for a short time. That's a great pick. Anytime you've got a very short map like that, you can just stall out with Ice Cube and Ice Wall for so long.
Well, let's talk actually a little bit about what Tornado.ROX did right. We saw on defending on Hollywood, they went for the 3 tank strategy. I mean, what did you guys think about the Zarya, Winston, Reinhardt, and trying to hold that as long as they could?
Well, clearly didn't work out for them in this case. I mean, again, we said it before, but I do think they're choosing that Winston mainly as an anti-Genji measure. I mean, Winston and Genji don't get along well. So I think that's probably what they were thinking there. But again, it's only going to work, as ZP said, it's only going to work if you're able to get an early pick or something like that. You know, going up face-to-face against each other, the DPS for the defending team there just wasn't quite enough.
The other thing, too, is that, again, we talked about it a little bit in the moment, but their positioning for that setup was not great. Reinhardt was so far out where you can't have people back in the cafe, Reinhardt super far up, and then someone on the high ground, because what is your Reinhardt shield even protecting there? So it was not really the greatest look there for Tornado.ROX on their defense. But, I mean, in general, in every facet of the game, they were basically outplayed by FaZe. There's just no way of sugarcoating it, and it was rough, but it's definitely promising if you're a fan of FaZe.
Well,
Yeah,
hey,
FaZe.
there was one moment with Buho and the Genji. He did a stellar job, chase down who is all the way up there.
He went up to Zenyatta.
Forsaken. Zenyatta was
Yeah.
all the way up on the top of the lift, and he started his kill spree with the unreachable Zenyatta. So I thought that was pretty impressive. Any other moments of brilliance, Joshi?
Well, like I said, like the DPS for that team, Tornado.ROX, is usually very, you know, up to snuff. And this time, that was a great play that you highlighted there, where he did get 4 kills, but the team as a whole was unable to even get 1 tick off of that just from the trickling players back in. So I think it really just was individual mismatches almost across the board, just skill-wise. And I think if you are a FaZe fan, like you said, you've got to be happy about that victory over a much stronger team than Gatekeepers, for example, which Rogue versus Gatekeepers, you go in there thinking, okay, Rogue, this match we at least thought, okay, Pretz, you know, getting picked up by an org, they got new motivation, they've played well enough to get here, you know, and beaten a few good teams on the way up, but FaZe really just outclassed them.
Yeah, I mean, Tornado.ROX, don't get it twisted. FaZe was the clear favorite in this, but I really thought it was going to be closer than that. I didn't think I wasn't going to predict a 2-1 or anything, but I thought we were going to see them put up a much better fight. You know, if this means anything to you, if you've been watching the scene closely, this team of Tornado.ROX was able to beat OW Kings most recently, just a couple of weeks, or within the last week or two. And that's a good team, right? That's a top 10 team in Europe right now, so they're definitely in the top 10. Just goes to show you, FaZe might be in the top 5, 6.
I think
Something
FaZe
like
is
that?
clearly right now in the top 5 if they continue playing like that. Again, FaZe's biggest mark against them is that they've been inconsistent, where they have some weeks they show up and they're just world beaters, and then some weeks where it's not great. I do think a bigger factor there is Too Easy, but if Too Easy can have the heroics that he did just in this last series, it bodes well, because we talked about that Buho play where Buho came in and FaZe should have grabbed him. I'm pretty sure that was the play where Too Easy came in and effectively had the 1v2 set up to bring that right back, and if you can clutch things out in McCree that consistently, it certainly bodes well for FaZe going forward.
All right, well, let's take a quick look at the bracket, see how everything lies after the 2 matches for Group B we just saw today. Like we said, our first match, Rogue versus Gatekeepers, really strong performance by Rogue. In the second matchup, we had Tornado.ROX falling 0-2 to FaZe. FaZe, I think we mentioned too, just coming off a victory over Complexity.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a King of the Hill series that ESL runs earlier this week. They dethroned Complexity 3-1 in a best-of-5. So Complexity, very strong team from North America as well. FaZe definitely showing up all week long here.
Yeah, that's definitely worth noting too. And you know, we're gonna see this face-off between Rogue and FaZe. ZP, you talked about this as a potential inevitability earlier on. So what do you think now they're gonna actually see each other?
Rogue and FaZe, I think, again, FaZe does have a puncher's chance of taking out Rogue. Rogue does have that history where sometimes they don't play up to their potential online. Certainly, they've done super well in in-person events, as seen from the last weekend, but I do think that is going to be a true top-tier match. I think if FaZe can show up like they did here today against Tornado.ROX, they have a chance of making that close and maybe even an ability to take it. I would not write them out in that match, and that's not just saying hype up everything. No, I really think they have a shot.
All right, anything you guys want to add before we wrap up our show today on the EU Regionals?
Well, I mean, you did mention that this FaZe team did beat Complexity recently. I think an interesting storyline right now in the scene is NA versus EU. And for a while there, a lot of people, myself included, I'm extremely biased, of course, but a lot of people were thinking NA was looking super strong in comparison. Obviously, EU with 4 amazing teams at the very top of the pack that can compete with any of NA's top, but people were looking at teams like Envious and Fnatic and Cloud9 and saying these 3 teams could potentially beat any of those 4 teams in Europe. Of course, now we have an even deeper pool emerging out of the European teams, and FaZe looking so strong right now goes to show you that this European scene is just huge. I mean, there's so many teams that can compete at a really high level, and if there's any storyline I'm going to be looking for in this tournament in particular, that's definitely one of them.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see the culmination at the finals. That's going to be the OverwatchOpen at the end of September out in Atlanta. Of course, sponsored by FACEIT and ELEAGUE. Josh, you bring us home. What else should we pay attention to before we go to bed tonight?
For Europe, I'm happy to see some great games across the board. Obviously, they're a bit one-sided, and we did finish up that Group A earlier and got to see another team advancing. So we had a really good final there for Group A. So everything I think so far has been really good. We've got North America coming a little bit later, so definitely stick around and get ready for that one.
All right, and it looks like we're going to bring things home with a quick review of some highlights from the day. And we're going to start things off with Nevix here on Reaper. Looking, is it okay to say sexy?
I think it's okay to say
I'm talking about the
completely
Reaper, not
okay.
Nevix. That's some good play there.
Yeah, Nevix, of course, well known because he actually hit #1 on the global leaderboards for a little while there. I know ranked isn't everything, but that's an impressive feat. Absolutely. And this team of Misfits, they've struggled a little bit. I mean, they didn't play up to their potential at the Atlantic Showdown, but good to see them qualifying through. It would have been a huge defeat if they did not make it to the OW Open. Coming up at the end of the month, again, Atlanta, Georgia is going to be where the teams will clash for $300,000. And actually, I wonder what we're going to be moving on to the final matches of Group A for NA a little bit later. Anything we should look forward towards there, guys?
I'm trying to remember the teams. I know Envious had advanced with a bye. It was Selfless and Splice, I think.
Yeah,
They're going to have to do a
Selfless
rematch.
and Spice going to have a rematch. That is going to be a sick one because that game was incredibly close between those two teams. And yeah, I actually have no idea who's going to take that.
There's sort of a situation there where there's a thing in professional football in the U.S. where you can win a game against a team late in the season and have it not mean a whole lot, and then play against them in the playoffs a week later, lose, and then be out for everything. And this is sort of a not great situation for Selfless because they might be heading into that because effectively they won the right yesterday to go into Envy, get steamrolled, and now they have to go in and fight Splice again. And if they lose the Splice, it's going to be a situation where Splice will be going off to Atlanta, and Selfless will go, but we traded out series with them. Feels bad. But that is how these brackets work. So for Selfless, they have to bring their A game. They certainly looked good yesterday. We'll see if they can do it again, but Splice definitely has spoiler potential there.
Well, every match they play against each other, each of these teams learns something new, especially so early on with so much to be seen from each of them. But guys, thank you for your insight. It went a long way in helping to understand these games. We'll be seeing more from you as we kick off North America later on tonight starting at midnight. But for now, we're going to tuck in EU, say thank you for watching, and we will see you again tomorrow. So thank you so much. That tomorrow, by the way, I do mean midnight, like as soon as tomorrow
3 hours.
turns over, because NA is coming back. It's going to be huge. You said Splice and Selfless. I can't wait to see. So we'll see you guys then. Thank you.